Alright, so in this section we're going to learn alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes and ketones. Now what are the alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes and ketones? Unsaturation is the forming double bonds, right? So the more double bonds and the triple bonds we have, we call those are unsaturated compounds. And the saturated compounds are when all of the bonds are single bonds. Okay, now the alpha beta unsaturation is, remember, the carbonyl group is the main functional group of interest. The carbon next to the carbonyl group is called the alpha carbon and then the beta carbon. Now alpha beta unsaturation is on your alpha and the beta carbon you have a double bond. When you have a double bond next to the carbonyl group in the alpha beta position, we call it as a alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds. Okay, and these alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds can have resonance structures the way that is being shown. So the double bond over here can move to form another pi bond between this carbon and this carbon. So the carbon oxygen bond opens up and gives its electrons to this oxygen. Okay, since this carbon losing 2 electrons and would end up having 3 bonds, which creates a positive charge right there. And then since oxygen end up having 6 electrons with a 1 single bond, it would carry a negative charge. Now so far we had seen a carbonyl carbon can have a resonance like this, O minus and carbon plus. So that's why a nucleophile can come and attack this carbon. Okay, now alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound also, we created a positive charge right there due to the resonance. Right? So then can you see now there are 2 places where we can have a positive charge. One place is here, this carbon, and then this carbon, the beta carbon, also positively charged. Okay, so in alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds, there are 2 places where a nucleophile can attack. There are 2 electrophilic sites. So one electrophilic site is the carbonyl carbon, the other electrophilic site is the beta carbon, alpha beta. Okay. When a electrophile adds on to the carbonyl carbon, we call it as a direct addition or 1-2 addition, because it's going to be 1-2. If an electrophile adds to the beta carbon, we call it as a conjugate addition, because it's adding to the conjugated double bond, conjugate addition or 1-4 addition. 1-4 addition is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1-4 addition or conjugate addition, direct addition or 1-2 addition. Okay. Direct addition to alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes and ketone. Direct addition is nucleophile adds to the first carbon, 1-2 addition. Okay, so the nucleophile goes over here, nothing happened to the double bond. You form the oxide, add water, hydroxyl group. So the direct addition product will end up on the carbonyl carbon. Okay, and then the conjugate addition to alpha beta unsaturated aldehydes and ketone, we call it as also 1-4 addition. So this is how the 1-4 comes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So remember from the resonance structure we saw that this carbon could be positively charged due to the resonance. So the nucleophile attacks to this positive carbon. Then the next pi bond opens up, give electrons to the 2-3 bond, and then the carbon oxygen bond opens up, and then you can create this intermediate. Okay, and then when you add water, this oxygen can grab a proton and become enol. Why do you call this as a enol? It has a en and all, enol. And then the group, the incoming group, the nucleophile added to the 4th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now this group can undergo a process called tautomerization. We call this as a enol tautomerization, where it can form the ketone. Tautomer. We're going to be learning more about the tautomers in the next section, next chapter. Okay. Basically, it regenerates the carbonyl group. Okay. This is in equilibrium, but the keto form is more dominant compared to the enol form. Okay. So when this direct addition or conjugate addition take place, it can depend on whether it's going to be happening due to the thermodynamic control, meaning is it the temperature control or the kinetic control. Okay, with a weakly basic nucleophile. If the nucleophile is weakly basic, so how do you know whether an nucleophile is weakly basic or strongly basic? Normally, if a nucleophile carries a negative charge, like hydroxide, is going to be strongly basic. But if it is water neutral molecule, weakly basic. Okay. So if we have a weakly basic nucleophile, direct addition is reversible. If the nucleophile adds to the carbonyl carbon, over here you can add the nucleophile, direct addition is going to be reversible. But if it occurs at the conjugate carbon, conjugate addition, that would be irreversible. With a weakly basic nucleophile, direct addition is reversible, so the reaction is under thermodynamic control. Meaning, by changing the temperature of the reaction mixture, we can make the forward reaction take place. The product with the carbonyl group is the most stable product. This is going to be the most stable product though. Okay. Weak bases form conjugate addition products. So the weak bases, some more weak bases like a cyano group, cyanide. So the one conjugate addition would be adding to this carbon. So then you form the carbonyl compound, ketone, cyano group. And then if you add hydrogen bromide, Br minus, conjugate addition will take place adding to this carbon, and then goes through the process and then regenerate the carbonyl carbon. And thiol, methane thiol, can add on to this carbon right there and then forms the 1,4 addition product. Another amine group, a secondary amine, sterically also hindered this one, so you would prefer conjugate addition to this carbon. Okay. And in the kinetic control, direct addition is irreversible. So the direct addition is the nucleophile adding on to the carbon. And the conjugate addition is adding on to the 4th carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the conjugate alpha beta carbon. Okay. You can use a strongly basic nucleophile. Both of these are going to be irreversible if you have a strongly basic nucleophile. With a strongly basic nucleophile, both reactions are irreversible, so the reaction is under kinetic control. The product is the fastest formed product. Whichever forms fastest would be the major product. Direct addition if the carbonyl group is not sterically hindered. Now sodium borohydride nucleophile is a H minus. So since the nucleophile is a small ion, hydride ion, it can directly add to the carbonyl group and form the primary alcohol. And if you use Grignard reagent, methyl magnesium bromide, methyl group is also not sterically hindered. So it can also go to the carbonyl group and form this product. Okay, but if you start with the Grignard reagent with a bulky alkyl group, then it could go to 1,4 addition or a conjugate addition. Direct addition and conjugate addition if the carbonyl group has a little steric hindrance. So this carbonyl group now has 2 carbons. So it can either have conjugate addition or it can also have a direct addition. So the direct addition would be hydride add into this carbon forming the alcohol 51%. Conjugate addition would be hydride add into this carbon and will become this product. 50-50 both happens. Conjugate addition if the carbonyl group is sterically hindered. Now here this carbonyl group, one side is a benzene ring and then the other side is alkene. And you are going to react it with phenyl magnesium bromide. This is also a little bulky and your carbonyl group also bulky. So in that case it would be difficult for the phenyl group to come here. So then it will go to the conjugate addition. So you can see this carbon right there is attached to the phenyl group. That's a conjugate addition product. Grignard reagent, direct addition, organocuparates, conjugate addition. So if you have a ketone, and we can react both of these, alpha beta unsaturated ketone with a Grignard reagent and a cuparate. Grignard reagent methyl group will go to the 1,2 addition, less sterically hindered, and forms this alkene. Whereas the cuparate, so the cuparate means it has 2 bulky methyl groups. So, excuse me, it would be difficult for it to reach to the carbonyl group. Instead, it would go to the conjugate addition. So the methyl will add on to the 4th position. So by looking at how sterically hindered is your carbonyl group and also how sterically hindered your reagent, we can decide whether it is going to act as a 1,2 addition or a 1,4 addition. Okay, so these are 2 ways if you have alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, the addition products. That concludes our chapter 16 about aldehydes and ketones.